Hi, Bobby here. I don't know what that was. But in the last video, we were looking at a concept that I call the name game. Go back and watch that video if you haven't followed so far. That's a fun exercise where, you take a concept, a phrase, and you apply it, the rhythmical element of it, to your playing. And you can come up with a lot of rhythmic ideas and embed a lot of rhythmic ideas into your playing by doing that as a limitation exercise. Now, this is something that I call the numbers game. And it's a little bit more abstract in as much as we're just thinking about not so much groupings of numbers, not so much, kind of rhythmic groupings like triplets, but I'm thinking about, this is a lot easier to just demonstrate over the backing track. This is why I'm letting the backing track run. But I just have a number in mind, starting with the lowest number that's going to be interesting, which would be 2. And just play a load of kind of 2 related stuff within the bar, if that makes sense. So, I'm not thinking about the subdivision, not thinking about the rhythmic grouping or anything like that, but this is a D minor 7 backing track, static backing track, so we're talking D Dorian or D minor pentatonic, all about harmonic information coming from the parent scale of C major. But if I'm just thinking about, I've got number 2 in mind, and I could just take a rhythm like this. And to not deviate from that once you've got it in your head, or if you do deviate, to be aware of the fact that you've deviated, to be really, really strict. There's a whole kind of rationale for this in the previous videos as to why I feel that's important. But, so I've kind of got that. And remember, not every note needs to be a new note. You can repeat notes within the phrase, otherwise you'll just sound like you're running up and down the scale. Let's take a different concept based on 2. So, does that make sense? Just thinking about the number 2, and I'm playing kind of short phrases with just kind of 2 notes. Or, that's the first one again. Okay, so let's kind of, we're not kind of increasing the subdivision, but now I'm thinking of 3. So notes, so small, short phrases containing 3 notes. Pretend that didn't happen. Or the first thing that comes into your head. So yeah, maybe that. So that's 3. And I guarantee that in doing that, you will play things that you haven't played on the guitar before. So you'll kind of force yourself out of your noodling comfort zone. And these are things that you can draw upon in the context of a solo. I mentioned before in previous videos that a strong rhythm can carry a relatively weak melody. You know, you're creating hooks on the fly. You could do this. I recommend that you do this sort of thing over the backing track as a limitation exercise, and then what you're doing in the background is you are developing, I guess, for want of a better word, a kind of library of rhythmic ideas that will eventually manifest and come out in your playing without you thinking about kind of reverse engineering them, without you analyzing them. You know, I'm not thinking of that as, you know, how it's written on the page or anything like that, but it just becomes this this kind of just part of the fabric of your phrasing. And you know, you need to let go of the fact that you're not going to possibly be able to retain absolutely everything that you've worked on. That's not the purpose of any of these limitation exercises that we've been looking at. Yeah, you're going to throw a load of them away, but if you're just kind of pulling them out of thin air to begin with, you know, they are kind of disposable by their very nature. So you'll find that you know, the ones that you kind of are drawn to are going to come through, and they might not come through necessarily over a backing track of this tempo, which is, you know, 75 BPM, 80 BPM, something like that. But you know, they might kind of just come through naturally over something else. So it's just a way of developing phrasing. So 3. So let's kind of work out to kind of 4. So, you know, just a short grouping of containing 4 notes. Something like that. You know, it's a little bit kind of syncopated. I really like the sound of that, but I mean, I deviated then, but I was aware that I did, and that's absolutely fine. So yeah, groupings of 4. I mean, you could have it just be, you know, kind of 8th notes, or but that's maybe a little bit obvious. That's maybe a different exercise, you know, a different kind of concept. What can we do over 4? Ba 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 ba. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Something like that. So. So, you know, not every note needs to be a new note. Not every note that you play needs to be a new note. You know, it's similar to the phrasing device that we looked at, you know, a couple of lessons ago. But this is kind of with more intent and focusing more on that number. So, you know, let's kind of up it to say 5. So, yeah, maybe something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I quite like that. So you know, you stumble upon things that you've never played before on the guitar. Okay, let's go up to 6. So we're not thinking about triplets, you know, the tendency to play, you know, kind of groupings of 6 or groupings of 3, but 1, 2, 3, yeah. So we could go. That could be our grouping of 6. Or we could kind of syncopate it, so we go. Got that's all it is, the numbers game. So, you know, it could be anything. It could be just to have that number in mind and to play short phrases without thinking too much, as I say, about the rhythmic grouping or the subdivision, and just kind of have fun with it. So it's just another idea, you know, see how you get on with that. As I say, as always, you know, practice this along with a backing track, just exclusively as a limitation exercise, and then just let go and kind of practice uninhibited and see what comes through in your playing. It might not be, you know, something that comes through immediately, but it might just kind of, I mentioned this before, but practice is essentially like data entry, you know, and there's a lot of kind of processing without making it sound like a kind of mechanical thing and without taking the heart and soul away from music. There is a certain amount of processing, or a huge amount of processing, that kind of goes on in the background, and that's how you kind of habituate and internalize your phrasing and your ideas. So yeah, see how you get on with that, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers guys, bye. you've ever wanted to play the blues with all the emotion of your favourite guitarists, or if you're keen to join in a jam night and just need a bit more confidence, Absolute Blues Guitar has you covered. We offer an immersive course, and whether you're a beginner or an experienced player, we're committed to making an authentic blues guitarist out of you. Everything we teach is broken down note for note, written out in tab and standard notation, and accompanied by high quality backing tracks. We give you all the tools you need to play classic blues and beyond. There really is nothing missing. My name's Bobby Harrison, I'll be your teacher, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you inside.